like normal 1v1 formats.
Yes.
So
We
it
are
can be
following
very
up
good.
now with the second round.
Yes.
Do we know?
And soon enough we will get
we
to the
can
coverage.
Look forward to.
We will hopefully even get the players who will be playing.
The second round is just around the corner.
We will
just
see
don't know
who do we
what-
have. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Tamio versus Tamio, right?
I'm really hoping for that, yes. I would like to just take a break, just say land pass.
Hey, maybe there will be Nadu and Oko on free.
Maybe,
and,
maybe.
Step getting on the
Yeah,
trigger
like combo
and
Tamio
game
against
over
control
in 10
Tamio.
minutes.
Yeah, it would be fantastic.
Probably not.
But based on the numbers, it is quite possible to get Tamio mirror, especially due to the
Not
power
unlikely.
level.
Yeah.
It's not unlikely, and especially due to the power level, it would be possible to see that in higher rounds that we will see later
Right.
today. But we will see
I
about the
know
results.
About several other Tamios that won this round.
Yeah.
But we are only joking. I'm not so distraught by seeing a mirror matchup.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, this is where the skill of the players
Absolutely,
really
absolutely.
show. Because if you play with the same cards, also the one that's starting has maybe some advantage, but when you play basically the same deck, it boils down to how well you can play.
You're absolutely right.
As a player.
And especially in the singleton format, which we have here, there can be a lot of variance even in the mirror matches.
So we get.
So on the left side on the right side, we can see Aminatou, and on the left side, I think it's Marchesa,
this
dealer
is
of death.
Marchesa. I recognize that.
Yeah, it looks like Marchesa, dealer of death, in the hands of David Stepanek, and then Aminatou. I'm not sure what.
Aminatou, the Fate Shifter.
That's right. That's the Planeswalker Aminatou in the hands of Leonhard Heindel. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Yeah, I believe.
Now, both of those decks are quite interesting. Both of them are not designed to be aggressive.
Right.
So we will see longer gameplay.
The Marchesa is one of the outlaw commanders that we talked about before, I believe. That revolves around the trigger whenever you commit a crime, whenever you target your opponent or something of them. You pay 1 mana and you get a card extra.
It's just a great value. Yeah, it's a criminal deck, I would say. It's very
You
great.
can say that.
Yeah.
And against it, a bit of classic in a dual commander. You could see
Absolutely.
it for years and years since it was spoiled. It is kind of evergreen presence.
Yeah.
Considering the recent power creep, it is maybe a bit of the wayside, but it's still really a menace.
Still usable, still good, still very clean.
We get a fetch on Badlands, I believe.
It
and
looks
Dragon
like
Rage
it, and
Channeler.
Darcy, Dragon Rage Channeler,
So
a
we get a
nice
bit,
value card.
Yeah, and also a kind of an aggressive start.
You
It's
could
a
say
great
that,
to
definitely.
Put, the Aminatou player under pressure, and when you are playing against Planeswalker commander,
Right.
you want to have something on board so you can pressure it and fight for the board presence. We see Chain Lightning and Nagdragoyf.
Yeah, there's Chain Lightning, Nethergoyf,
Lorien
Lorien
Revealed.
Revealed, and 2 lands. One of them is a check land, so the Sulphur Falls, and the
Yeah.
other one is the
Survey.
new Survey lands.
Yes,
Absolutely. So
Okay.
there's been a discard on the Chain Lightning. And
If we spoke about the decks not being so aggressive, we just see DRC to
another
burn spells
yeah.
and also another 1 mana creature. So
it's
that's
true.
not a really control hand per se, right?
Absolutely, but the Marchesa deck can get a little aggressive. Definitely more than Aminatou.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
As we spoke before, against some like big control decks like
There is the
Artifacts,
Nethergoyf.
you need to put out some kind of pressure to
Absolutely,
put out
absolutely.
as long as you maintain the advantage. Yes, we got the Nethergoyf,
Yeah.
and if you have a nice board presence, we'll see what the Aminatou is all about. I don't see.
That's right. It's
any-
probably going to be a reanimator style. It's always. Although we are not really sure what hand does the Aminatou player have.
Just
So-
to lands,
Just
play,
two lands and-
do rest to
yeah.
check the opposing players. Huh?
Now there is the push, I believe, for 4 or 3, if I'm counting correctly.
Yeah.
There has been a land and a chain lightning, so that's a push for 3, and then 3 mana. There is going to be a
Marchesa,
play. Okay.
Yeah, the Marchesa.
Yeah, there is an
being
attempt to
attempted
cast
casting.
Marchesa, and then there is a fetch on the side of Aminatou.
Well, let's say attempt to resolve Marchesa.
Yeah, there is an attempt. Oh, there's been a cast. The
Yes,
cast has been made.
Yeah, and the Aminatou is most likely to respond because there is
Absolutely.
going to be a bit scary.
Yeah.
Board presence, or maybe let it go and went.
Yeah, there is some sort of counter spell, maybe
they-
even the counter spell.
Yeah, I see 2 blue mana.
Yeah, it looks like 2 blue pips, counter spell, and as a result, days as a response to the counter spell.
So the going all in on creatures
Yes.
makes just that much sense.
There's been a
suddenly.
trigger as well on Darcy, and I think it was Pyrogoyf
Yes,
that came to the graveyard.
So you now have the situation that the Aminatou's counterspell got counterspelled, and Marchesa gets 3 creatures on board.
Absolutely, and now there is a lot of pressure on the side of Marchesa and David Stepanek.
Yes, so not really, not looking that good for.
It's not
Aminatou.
looking good for Aminatou. You're absolutely right.
But if the Aminatou truly is the reanimation variant, it is kind of a type of deck that doesn't really fight necessary for
Absolutely.
the board presence. We can check it, that would be fantastic.
I'm going to do that.
But basically, even if your opponent is really ahead, you can still reanimate some big threat, and suddenly the advantage is on the other side of the table.
Yeah, I can see reanimate in the deck list. I can also. Can I see reanimate the dead as well, potentially? Well, there has been definitely reanimate, so there are some targets.
Do you have the correct was Pyrogoyf? I see.
Yeah, there's also
And the Aminatou
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that doesn't really work.
shouldn't be.
You're absolutely right, but that's the name of the player.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we seen a bit of confirmation because there is the
Yeah, we've seen the Falaji archaeologist used.
Yeah, sorry, I completely
Yeah.
spaced out on the name, but
Yeah.
I know the card. It's used in Aminatou because it is an entry battlefield creature that provides nice value by
Yeah.
having 3 cards and keeping non-creature, non-land.
Non-creature, non-land, which was Teferi Time Reveler, the 3 mana small Teferi, which is nice bounce effect. It's a 0-3 on the board, although I don't really believe it can effectively block anything. It can just chomp on the side of.
Well, I can block the DRC because I don't believe the Delirium has been met, or it was.
There
yeah,
is-
we do have.
There is instant sorcery, creature, and land.
Oh,
We
yes.
have Delirium. And
Okay.
I believe we are on 4 types.
That means that the power of this board is
It's
way
quite a lot.
higher,
It's like-
considering it's 2 1-drops and 3
Yeah.
for commander. Now we have facing 10 power on board.
If I'm counting correct, it should be 9 because Nethergolf is 0-1, right?
Yeah, but we got 4 types at least.
Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right.
4,
Yeah.
3, 3.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
We get, as you mentioned, the champ block because this is a lots of damage coming through,
Yes.
and we'll see what the Aminatou player can do.
Yeah,
really
how can
about
they
that.
come back from this? Because there is also, don't forget that David did not really play anything.
Yeah,
They just kept
so
open mana, just
And
ready to
we
respond.
see only the Teferi.
Teferi
We
and
get the counterspell,
Counterspell.
memory lapse.
Memory lapse, you're absolutely right. And there
And
is also.
a Marchesa trigger.
Absolutely. And there's been a scoop on the
Yeah.
side of Aminatou because the value is just too great, the speed is just too much.
Yes, the Marchesa player got the tempo and
This
never
was-
let it go.
Absolutely. This was a very aggressive start on the side of Marchesa.
That days on keeping the commander countering the counterspell really sealed the deal.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, because it provides you with, okay, now I have those 3 threats on the
Yeah.
table. My commander can later turns provide me with the card advantage.
Absolutely.
What you gonna do about it?
And also pressure, don't forget that, That was probably the pivotal moment in the match, the Days counter to the counter spell. Because from that moment onward, the Aminatou player
Exactly.
could not really do much.
Well, I was kind of expecting or hoping for balance on the side of the
That might have been very nice, yeah.
Getting rid of the third land, getting rid of all creatures, resetting the board. Let's go,
Yeah.
let's play. But sadly, we didn't see much. We didn't really see any big reanimation target built
yeah.
with the Fallagy Archaeologist, which I half expected.
Yeah, but there's gonna be definitely some targets. I really look forward to what the Aminatou is going to bring out. Well, the Broodlord is one of the common targets you want to get out. Archon of Cruelty is
Archon Cruelty
quite
is the
strong.
most well-known
Yeah,
reanimation target. Again, from the previous Modern Horizons that really shaked up the reanimation archetype in Dual Commander, as well as in Modern.
Well, in Modern, they basically printed Reanimator
deck.
and Orzhov
Yes,
deck
yes.
just in Modern Horizons 2.
We got Unmarked Grave, we
Yeah.
got Persist, we got the Archon, so whole bunch of new cards and made the reanimation archetype so much more consistent and
Yeah,
powerful.
very viable. So we will see what exactly, which cards, which targets for reanimation we'll see.
David Stepanek is in the lead. Aminatou is on the play.
Absolutely, and we'll
keeping-
see.
We
just see a little bit of
currency
the
converter
hands.
and frantic search, meaning that would further the mention that it is going to be a reanimation version.
I would love to see one day just a fair Aminatou, just blinking, just like enjoying your day, but you need to play the best version you possibly can. So you have to abuse your stuff.
The reanimation as the archetypes really changes the game in the metagame, that you have a control deck that also can present your threat very early in the game.
You're absolutely right.
Turn 1, draw this card, turn 2, reanimate, you get Archon in turn 2, turn 3, you can play Aminatou, blink it. And
you basically seal the deal with that. You're absolutely right.
see the game. We got some mulligans from
David kept 6 probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a fetch.
Leonard is on 7, I believe, and
yeah,
we'll see. I believe there is the converter coming into play, and that
Most
means
likely.
turn 2 onwards. There is a possibility to draw this card, getting some big threat into the graveyard, and on turn 3 maybe the reanimation.
Yeah, we will most likely see that happen.
Yep. Here we go. The Marchesa, I don't know if it's really present in the deck list, but it is because you want to have cheap cards or cheap effects to repeatedly trigger the
Marchesa,
commit the crime trigger.
You want to have some
ability.
criminal cards, you're absolutely right.
You usually include the lands that can target your opponent's creatures, like Hammerheim, etc. The Shizo first, Shizo second. But I'm mostly talking about the other card, the 1 mana artifact that can exile a target card from the opponent's graveyard. I'm talking about Relic of Progenitus, the Phyrexian Furnace, etc. Scrapping claws that trigger the commit a crime ability of an again and again, and also are a bit of a sideboard cards against the reanimation archetypes. We don't see them. We saw attempt on Psychic Frog.
Yeah, a new, very nice new card, Psychic Frog, but it got countered by Mana Leak, so it did not really hit the boards.
No days this time.
No days this time, but Psychic Frog has been a very interesting card recently, even in Modern, but also in Dual Commander.
Very powerful.
Yeah, the card can just run with the game on its own, basically.
I still have a trauma by losing it on the pre-release to it. Just putting it to discard the whole hand, and you have like 6, 7.
It's much stronger version of Psychotalk. It's just a brutal version of Psychotalk, mainly due to the fact that you can get the cards by hitting your opponent.
Yes.
You get them into a situation where they are choosing between blocking and not blocking, and both options just
prime example of power creep, right? You get cheaper card that is way more powerful, way more useful.
Now the Orcish Bowmasters.
In response
coming in,
to the currency converter trigger.
Absolutely.
To get the most mileage out of the ability.
Yeah, well, he's gonna get 3/3 on board basically, and 2 damage to face, which
Yes.
is a nice way
Also
to
some-
start being aggressive.
A board presence.
Yeah.
It maybe there's some consideration of keeping your mana open for what your opponent is gonna play on that turn, but I believe the Orcish Bowmasters are there to have the most value
Just
possible.
the most value. You're absolutely right.
We
Yeah,
don't see any other reanimation big target yet.
nothing yet. Nothing yet. We will
Just-
slowly
just
go there,
another
probably.
land. But other than the Orcish Bowmasters, having the currency converter is a nice situation for the Aminatou to be with.
That's absolutely true. It can come in handy quite quickly. There is also the surveillance on the side of Leonard.
Maybe hitting something big finally.
Potentially. That's a very interesting situation that can happen when you just hit what you need. Okay, there's been
Base-
probably. I'm not really sure. That's a card we are trying to discover.
I think it's kind of those secret lair lands.
It's definitely. It doesn't look like a land because it has mana cost on top.
Oh no, it might be those symbols for the
What?
like Windows.
tapping.
No. It's like the Windows program.
Okay.
So-
Could be. Yeah. There's
with
too
the
many
exits,
arts.
minimize, etc.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, we have so it's probably a land, like snow-covered
Yeah,
land. Could
because
be.
you see on the Aminatou side there is a basic snow-covered swamp.
Yes.
That's in the snow-covered variant. We
Yes.
see the nice plains.
Well, that's a Phyrexian plains, just a normal, not snow-covered. Well, we don't really know if there is any reason for being snow-covered. And on the side of David, we see Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
Putting foot on the gas.
Yes,
And
exactly. And getting value out of the card, because the card...
It resolved.
It did resolve.
Despite the Aminatou player having 4 mana open. Not even the attempt to use the converter, which I believe is there just to make a treasure.
Just to get value, I think.
Probably
Just, yeah.
not wanting to get the Orcish army too big.
Absolutely. Well, it can be quite scary. Remember, Leonard is only on 13 life now.
And apparently with no real interaction? Or
Maybe.
meaningful interaction?
Yeah,
just
there has
yet?
been a fetch into surveillance, putting away another surveillance, and now looting.
No.
No,
We
not
get
looting.
the treasure token.
Yeah, we are getting the treasure out of it. Okay. Now let's see if there are some options with
I'm hoping
four-
for something to change
5,
the
maybe even
situation.
6 mana on the side of Leonard. Maybe we will see hard cast on some of those big targets.
Not sure 6 mana what would
That's still not enough,
Um,
right?
Don't forget that David also have 1 mana open.
That's
And as we saw
right.
from the previous round, previous game, there is most likely to be some kind of interaction.
Yeah, there can be a Jace even without mana, but there can be Bolt, for example, Push, whatever. There are a lot of
spikes
things.
also.
4 spikes even, right. So many options. Okay, we have another land, so we are currently on 6 mana on the side of Leonard with Aminatou. We will see how he'll attempt to get out of this sticky situation. Because there are still problems coming
we have
this way.
the meta share, please.
Yes, we can take a look.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there was a question if you have Tivit commander here, and we have it 2 times.
Yeah, there are 2 Tivits in the in our meta here. We will talk about those little off choices in the in between time, but for now we can see that there is an attempt to cast something for 5.
Beza?
Now
No, wait.
it is very hard for us to distinguish what exactly the card is.
It's some kind of
Wrath effects. It
Yeah, board
looks
wipe.
like a board wipe, a wrath of some sorts. We are still trying to figure out what the card is based
It
on
is the
art.
new energy wrath for
Could be Wrath of the Skies,
because it went
potentially.
with all the artifacts and enchantments, and I don't recall any
Yeah.
other card that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Wrath
And
of the
it
Skies.
could be Wrath of the Skies.
Sorry, we didn't recognize this beautiful foil.
Yeah, it
art.
looks like it is Wrath of the Skies. We have the confirmation. Fantastic. So Wrath of the Skies is a very fantastic new board wipe. Well, it's in the alternative art here, but still. You can see that it does not only destroy creatures on board, but also it gets rid of enchantments and artifacts.
Yeah, sorry for that converter that didn't get its job, but we see that there was no interaction from the David side.
That's
it just
right.
went through, and because I'm cheering for the really back and forth games, we see that the situation was reset and the Aminatou player kind of saved the day.
Yeah. Oh, there's been the Phoenix. Yeah, the Detective Phoenix on the side of David Stepanek from the graveyard.
bestowing for collect evidence,
Yes.
I believe.
Yeah,
so-
you collect evidence 6 and you pay red, I believe.
Yes.
And you can bestow it from the graveyard, which gives haste and +2/+2 and flying.
Yeah, commentator's curse. I just spoke about the situation being resolved, and then
Yeah.
we go with putting even so much more pressure.
Yeah, now
in the
this
phase for
looks
5.
like frantic research.
Frantic search.
Search, sorry, on the
to
side
draw
of Leonard.
discard, get into some.
Maybe some
cards.
reanimation target, maybe some answers. We are
Probably this card was already in the hand. I believe if we saw it
Yeah,
from the start. So
that's true, that's
it was
true.
extra painful with Acronym Masters in play.
That's
but
right, that's right.
Since they are gone, the frantic search can be used to dig for some kind of answer or
Yeah.
finally some.
Maybe even some threat on the
Action,
side
yes,
of
yes.
Aminatou. Also remember, even if they kill the Marchesa, the Detective Phoenix will come back.
No,
It's
not
just the
coming back,
2/2.
it just remains.
Yeah, it will
It
stay
remains
there. It will
as a
stay
creature.
there as a creature, which still means there is a 2/2 in the air that really pushes you to answer this as quickly as possible, because Leonard is only on 8 life currently. Now we have the collected brutality on the side of Leonard to discard. I'm
The
not sure.
peak.
It's peak.
It's
yeah,
peak.
that's
It's
right.
look at the opponent's
yeah,
hand and draw a card.
Yeah.
And we saw in the David Stepanek's hand the red removal spell Galvanic
Discharge. You're absolutely right.
So there was a new like Modern Horizons
Yeah.
3 energy cards on both sides
That's
of the
right.
table.
And now the
finally
impulse.
we get some action from the Aminatou player,
Now,
and we
what's
get
it
to
gonna be?
reanimating.
Yeah.
And usual suspects.
So we have Unburial Rites.
which is a reanimation spell that you can flash back. So it doesn't matter if your opponent puts it in your hand or in your
Absolutely.
graveyard, you get it either way, and you get the two most powerful.
And now 2 brutal creatures,
Yes.
Archon of Cruelties, and the other one is the
Agent.
Agent of something.
that takes control of the
Opponent's creature, which
no,
is
the any permanent.
any permanent.
But in this
actually.
case,
It
is
would
the
be
same
Marchesa,
effect.
right?
It definitely would be Marchesa, and it would completely change. The
I think that
game
would just
in
break
the
David's
Aminatou
back
side.
in the situation.
If it resolves and it
That's
goes
right.
on the agent, we will see agent stealing Marchesa and threatening to do
Yeah.
it again on the second turn.
Okay, so
We get 6 mana in hand.
Okay.
And
so the Archon has been put into
the hand.
and
sorry,
in the
I haven't realized fully that was main phase intuition.
Yeah,
which
it wa-
means David has a full turn to figure out something to deal with.
even potentially to end the game, which he has got 5 damage on board. He
and
just
having
needs 3.
cards from
Yeah,
3 damage.
but
from
we
one
do
of the
know
cards.
that there has been 2 cards in his hand that did not really deal with the situation. There was the Galvanic Discharge that just deals damage to face. To creatures.
To anything
right?
else but
yeah.
face.
Non-face targets.
Yes. Okay.
And now there is the Surveillance,
Digging for something.
just finding things. Okay, putting away a polluted delta.
And here we go. Let's see if there can
Now,
be some.
the Archon cannot really be hardcasted right now. It's
No,
still
it's
too
for-
expensive, but there will be the Unburial Rites
On the agent.
targeting the agent.
Let's see what happens. Because if it resolves, the situation can
Well,
be
yeah,
completely lopsided
it's
in the
absolutely
favor of
true.
the Aminatou player, outside of the fact that he is on free life.
We'll see if the spell even resolves. Okay, there is
Yes.
the galvanic
In
discharge.
response, in order
Yes.
to get the final
Trigger.
commit the crime
Yes.
trigger, but we are resolving the
Absolutely.
battlefield. So
Yes.
it's also it is done, and the Marchesa is fully on the side of
Leonard, yeah.
Yes. Marchesa is stolen, and David Stepanek is now suddenly in an unfavorable position and has to find something else to close out the
That's
game.
absolutely true, but remember that Leonard with Aminatou is only on 3 health.
Agent of Treachery is that.
Yeah, Agent of Treachery is the card, but now he's only on 3 health, which means any bolt
Yes.
off the top
Is fine.
is final. And also the Marchesa is tapped right now because it was
any
stolen.
haste threat
So any
is
hasty
the
threat
game as
also resolves this. Although we don't really know. Okay,
still
there is a
looking for the-
graveyard check. Maybe looking if there's anything else to be afraid
The
of.
lights are gone, so
They are gone.
believe
That can't
that's
be
something
really played again.
Interesting.
Let's see how David chooses to resolve the situation.
If we are about to see Reanimate or Agent taking Marchesa back, that
That
would be
would
crazy.
be very nice. Murktide Regents. Okay, so how many counters do we have? It looks like 2 or 3. Yeah, it's been 2 instant or sorceries and a land, I believe.
There's a question if we have
So
the players
It's
switch,
2.
perhaps. Which one is playing? If you have,
It's absolutely true. We have the players switched.
Sorry, so David Stepanek is on Aminatou and
Yeah,
Leonard
and
is on Marchesa.
So we
Sorry
take
about
back everything we said. Just switch the names, please. In our commentary, in your minds, you can probably switch it back. So the game suddenly became much more favorable for Leonard, even though we did not know that. It's still the same players, just we did not really realize the names. Now there is a card that looks like something from the Warhammer 40k.
Lord of
Yes, Lord of
Change.
Changes. That's the demon that's quite a common reanimator target.
and we are looking at 2 flying blockers against a flying Murktide region.
That's right. There's only a meagerly Nergoyf, which can't really solve anything in this
Well,
position.
Not that meagerly, I would say. I believe we have 4.
Well,
at
remember
least
the rest is in graveyard. It's exiled via the Murktide.
No, but on the
He's checking only his own graveyard.
it's your graveyard.
Yeah,
okay,
this
well,
one
that's
checks
it.
only your own graveyard. That's the new one. Not the good old days of
And it's 1 mana,
Tarmogoyf.
so it would
Yes.
be broken if
Absolutely.
we kept
So
Tarmogoyf for
it's
1 mana.
just 1-2 basically.
And Cancel Study to
Yeah.
finally get the
And yeah, the
both-
Broodlord
both-
in the graveyard.
both the Archon and the Broodlord
Yeah.
hits the graveyard. Let's see if we have some reanimation spell or perhaps Aminatou blinking a lot of change,
Might be.
looking for some cards. And
Okay, we are going to look for
the reanimation
yeah,
spell,
the
maybe?
reanimation spell.
Perhaps.
Absolutely. I think I don't want to predict that soon because there can still be some burn spells coming to David's face, but I think we might be able to see round 3. This looks like
Oh
Wash
no!
Away.
Yes, that's Wash Away.
It's Wash Away from the Midnight Hunt special feature, you know.
Yes, the black and white.
Yeah, so you can't really see anything on the cards.
We still recognize it, so it's fine.
Yeah, but we managed to recognize that.
Now we have some kind of stalemate, right? The David Stepanek Aminatou is
Okay.
on 2 life, but he has slightly
Yeah,
favored
he has
or-
some options even.
position.
Gitaxian Probe on the side of Leonard just to look to David's hand.
We are looking at animate that
the whale.
Magister that
Yeah. It
basically
destroys-
destroys all
yeah.
creatures, and the last blue card is
This was the Wash Away. And there is a whale. I think you can also discard it to basically ponder or some kind of effect like this. Anticipate effects.
not really recalling the name.
Yeah, I don't remember the name, but it used to be played a lot in Living End in Modern back in the... Well,
Okay,
quite some time ago.
it's not that
It's like
old card.
Yeah, it's like I think M19, M20, maybe
Yeah.
M21 at max.
Feels
okay.
like yesterday to me.
Yeah. Well, we will see if there is any option for David to really go through, although it doesn't really seem like it. There is a consider.
Consider on end step, I believe. The
Yeah, that
Leonard is just
Waker
passing
of
the turn.
Waves is the creature. Now you can discard it to get the top 2 cards, get one of them.
Yeah.
But also it has a nice passive ability to just make...
Reminder of Tamio. Tamio's
Well,
plus
in a
one.
way, yeah, it does have a
Opponent's
similar
creatures
thing.
have -1 if I...
Absolutely.
Yes. It does.
Now, interesting thing is that David on Aminatou does not really want to push through an attack. Because, okay, we are going to the red zone.
As you said
As I just said that, right, I wanted to say that he does not really want to
The
do that.
Murktide
because
is 5/5, I think.
Murktide is 5/5
So
right
the
now.
Lord of Change is the biggest threat.
Yeah, it went through right away. But you know, the problem is that David is still on a very low life total, just 2 life, just on the razor's edge, just
The
trying to
problem is,
survive.
I believe the Aminatou was cast. No. It is coming
Now it's
into
being
play
cast.
when you have enough mana for a counterspell, so you start getting the advantage.
That's right, you
and
can just blink.
solidifying the
Yes,
position.
absolutely.
So either not even the counterspell.
Yeah,
burn
and-
spell can solve this situation.
I think this game is going to be quite soon sealed.
I also believe we are going to see the game 3
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
Again, after a 2-0.
Well, the first game was very quick and very fast, but this one is getting very interesting.
But exciting.
Yeah, it's absolutely exciting. I don't really see any out for our Marchesa player. I'm not really sure.
There are
if
still
is any-
several cards in hand, so it can be a burn spell plus counter spell, and
Could
it
be.
can. No.
There's been a
there's
skew.
concede.
As we just say, there are options.
Yeah.
There's
We
been
have
a
the power
skew.
to predict the
Yeah,
elements
but-
by saying opposite.
That's right. We have the power of predicting just the opposite.
And we are seeing final game 3. I was kind of afraid when we had this situation that the Marchesa player, as we don't change
Yeah.
the names, because
Yeah.
I'm a bit confused now as well, that the Marchesa threatened had or cripple masters, which is a great card against
Absolutely,
Aminatou, because
absolutely.
it makes the +1 ability, for example, quite painful. Also, every single draw discard spell that
Yeah.
the Aminatou wants to play to get the threats into the graveyard and to increase consistency, they are really punished by Bowmasters.
Absolutely.
And the Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And if I was in the Marchesa seat, I wouldn't have anticipate my opponent to deal with everything.
I would just be
With a simple
comfortable.
single card.
Yeah, I would just
Yeah,
be super
so-
comfortable. You know, great board stay. Even if they play a Wrath effect, I have the Fable. Well, the Wrath of the Skies just says sorry, no creatures,
Yeah.
no effects,
So
no
the
enchantments, nothing.
Power of the card.
Yeah,
That is not so high because you in modern,
Yeah.
for example, you use it along with all the other cards that create energy
yes,
for you.
absolutely. You can just play it for 2 mana. You can abuse it very well. in
And the
modern.
card in this format, when you have a lot less consistency and you don't play usually that many other energy cards,
Yeah, I'm not even
realize
sure
it itself.
if you could.
So
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, like why would you play Tune with Ether, for example? Like, what is it good for? It's just draw a card, get you energy. It doesn't really help
It's
you.
only a nightmare, but that would
Yeah.
mean the Aminatou can blink it, so you can get additional free energy
Yeah,
counters.
you're not wrong.
And start reanimating something bigger, but still not.
The problem
card
is
for
getting the cards together. That's what I feel is the big problem, because you don't have the consistency in a singleton format.
Okay, and I believe we
I've
see,
seen the Psychic Frog. I'm
and
gonna.
I see Phyrexian Furnace, which is a great card against
okay.
Aminatou, because
Okay.
Leonard, to get it right, with Marchesa, is on the play.
Yes.
Which means most likely that we see the Furnace being in the play as soon as possible.
Yeah, I
And
believe
that
so.
spells bad news for Aminatou. because
Absolutely.
It makes attempt to reanimate something that much harder.
You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
it
There is the
does.
Phyrexian Furnace coming in.
I saw the yesterday's stream, and I believe Phyrexian Furnace also made some play here. So we see per Modern and Dual Commander, we play the same cards.
Yeah.
Phyrexian Furnace all the way,
Now there has been the Surveillant on the side of David,
which is
probably keeping the top on top.
so less powerful and useful now. With
Yeah, it's just
what you get in the graveyard gets ink X'd out immediately. So
Right
it's been
away,
kept,
right.
I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, he kept it on top, so it's probably something
And on
nice.
David Stepanek's hand, we see some reanimation spells, a Shallow Grave, I believe, etc.
Could be,
along
hard to
with
say right now.
2-mana.
Well, does it
Indeed,
even
stuff.
matter right now? That's the question for us, because the Phyrexian Furnace will not allow for any... I think I see anime dead there.
And even further,
Mm-hmm.
the Shallow Grave is, I believe, the one that can reanimate only from your graveyard,
That's right, that's
which
right.
means that you can sometimes use the
Now-
animation spells
Yeah.
on your opponent's graveyard to force them to use the Grave Hate, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you can like open up the
It's
situation.
an option, but now we see the power of modern design, which is the Psychic Frog, the value engine and a killer in one single frame.
The power of pre-modern and modern at the same time.
Yeah, harvesting the same power. Now we can see an interesting art. We are trying to recognize what the card is.
I believe it's
Is it the flying thing? You know, just the bird?
it has flying that touch.
Flying that touch.
Baleful Strix.
Yeah, Belfry string. That's it. It's probably the Belfry strings.
I have never seen this art in my
It,
life.
it's not commonly seen, but right now it's a great option against Psychic Frog, honestly. Because Psychic Frog can't really walk around that.
Even fly around it.
Yeah,
because
it
Strix
can't
has
fly any higher than
has
that. So this is a nice counterplay to Psychic Frog, although we might see some sort of interaction. We are playing on side of Marchesa, there is black, there is red, a lot of interactive spells, a lot of killing, basically.
The Strix don't believe will be around
I
for
think,
much longer.
yeah, I think it's a high
if,
priority target to get rid
Leonard
of.
wants to get in, which considering who's the beatdown, I think the ball is definitely on the side of the Leonard.
Absolutely.
Because he is a favorable position,
Yeah.
and he wants to stay that way by closing out the game as soon as possible.
Absolutely, but even with the Psychic Frog, just to get the value and draw more cards and have more interaction,
Yeah.
it's also a thing that I would promptly, yes, exactly, use some sort of, there is a fight over it. So there's been Galvanic Discharge and Mental Misstep as a counterplay, countering the Galvanic Discharge.
This time fully legally.
Fully legal, we might say. Thank you, comments. It was fully legal play just for 2 life.
Yeah.
And a pass, because the
penalty.
Psychic Frog can't get through. That's very interesting play. Nice save on David's side, I
Right,
must
and
say.
an interesting reminder, Leonard put the dice on his
On top of his deck, yeah.
I believe it is because of the Phyrexian Furnace, because you really want to start digging into your opponent's graveyard
true.
to keep the count of the cards in
Yes.
graveyard low. Because the Phyrexian Furnace is not that potent graveyard hate piece as are printed nowadays. It
Yes.
cannot take the whole graveyard.
You're
with it.
absolutely right.
It has 2 abilities. One takes 1 card from the bottom
Yeah.
of the opponent's deck, and the other one is targeted and
Yes.
it draws a card, but it costs a mana.
Yeah, and you have to give up the first.
You sacrifice it.
Yes, you have to sacrifice it.
Now we see
Once again,
a combat of 2 mana multicolor creatures and 1 mana artifacts, Currency Converter versus Phyrexian Furnace, which is quite an interesting synergy, or I mean anti-synergy, or like fight how the cards work, because the Currency Converter discarded cards keeps you in exile.
they are exiled
But
and they are protected, basically.
Yeah, but
There is
they
the
are-
Unholy Heat,
Oh.
targeting the Baleful Strix,
So the
which
Strix-
means the Psychic Frog may finally start hitting the red zone and drawing cards. Okay, so
Which
there's...
is the most meaningful.
Yeah, that's for Leonard. This is an absolutely great news, because he'll have more options, more lands even, and he might start to get his gameplay going.
Doesn't need to go crazy with the frog
Absolutely.
and discarding whole hand.
You don't have to. You just draw a card. You know, get the value. And if the Aminatou player, if they don't really have any good answer to it, the frog will just run away with the game with the value that it provides. And then, by the end, it will just eat you alive by discarding the whole hand.
Yeah, that's kind of also the strength of the frog. that not only it grinds the value by attacking turn after turn, drawing your cards, hitting your opponent, but when the opponent gets low enough, you
Yes.
can just discard a few more cards and close out the game.
Absolutely. And there is the furnace activation. There is a Goyf. That's the newer one.
Yeah, this
Grave Goyf, I think it's called. Maybe different.
Barogoyf.
Yeah, Burrow Goyf. That's
You-
it. Burrow Goyf. I'm lost on my Goyfs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, with the grave you wasn't that far. It's
Yeah.
a Barrow. Also a really powerful card.
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
Modern Horizons commander set.
I've seen like a lot of spikes on this card, not only in Dual Commander but in Legacy as well. It's been doing a lot of works, and the card seems very, very interesting. The Burrow Goyf.
It has lifelink that touch.
Yeah.
It has power now about the both graveyards.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe.
like the normal Goyf.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
I
the
know.
normal Goyf
Oh.
stat line.
Only the Nether Goyf is confusing.
Yeah.
And if you hit your opponent, you mill that many cards
Yeah,
according to the damage you dealt, and you can put a creature card from among them into your hand.
which is fantastic. There's just more and more and more value. Now, there has been some discussion about the Phyrexian Furnace, like what cards are going to get exiled.
Which is important to notice in a format when you have all the cards from Magic history. There are several cards that care about the order of your grave, and that's why the player that includes those cards in the deck should, if I'm not mistaken, always remind your opponent that they cannot just randomly shuffle your graveyard.
Right,
Because you have a card that is not errated yet for some
Absolutely,
reason.
like the Shallow Grave. You're absolutely right. You
And
need to care
cares
about that.
the order, so you need to remind him that the order matters.
Right.
It does-
Well, in this case, there is just 2 cards in the graveyard, but yeah, it can get a little messy. You're absolutely
we
right.
perhaps might see an interesting window on David Stepanek's side, because the Protection Furnace has been used. There is no mana to activate it.
Now, this looks like Fateful Mending.
Yes, Faithful Mending in order to maybe put something in the graveyard finally
Yes.
and start reanimating.
Because the furnace is now tapped, and there is no
still
mana.
The Shallow Grave, which
Absolutely.
which is so much more dangerous.
Yeah,
Because it gives the creature haste.
you're
The
absolutely
creature,
right.
so.
But
there
wouldn't
they
there
go.
be a problem with the money-making machine that makes it
No.
into graveyards?
It doesn't have to. You doesn't have to put it under it.
Okay,
You
okay.
have the option to not. But
You can hide
David
it.
Stepanek can.
Okay,
he
and he
uses
just-
it
yeah.
because he wants to
He
get
cashes
that
in
to
and- yes.
rogue token. And now we may see some reanimating going on.
Yes, okay. Reanimate, just good old reanimate, and Force of Will as a response.
So the
Oh
Leonard
my.
was not that.
Okay, so
Uninteractive
Leonard
as
was
possible.
prepared,
This
and
was crazy.
once
Oh
again,
my god.
power of Psychic Frog. You just get the cards.
Extremely powerful
That was
display
great.
of
This was an
Marchesa player. Not
absolutely great
only
play.
having Gravehead since turn 1, going on with the Psychic Rock and then Bargoyf, putting on pressure.
Yeah.
And the turn that he got tapped out and say, hey opponent, I'm tapped out. I have no interaction.
Try
Let's
it.
go.
Try it.
something.
Yes.
Bam. I have Force of Will. None of that reanimating today.
No, it's great. Now it looks like Leonard is preparing to use the ability on Psychic Frog and just trying to be as clean as possible with the Goyf.
Counting good Goyf.
Yeah.
We are still on pretty healthy life total, 16 and
Absolutely.
16. So
But it's going to swing. Now we are counting the number, how big the Goyf is. I believe it should be, yeah, okay, there's nice representation. So it's a 5-6,
yes,
which means there will be 5 life coming to Leonard's.
blocking it in order
yeah.
to get the most value out
Absolutely.
of your opponent.
And also drawing a card with the Psychic Frog, once
Yes.
again.
And the trouble on the David Stepanek's side is that he used one of his attempts, and
There
then
is animate
Oh.
that on the side of Leonard going in.
I am the one who reanimates.
Yes, that's right. He's turning the tables on the reanimator and taking
If
the
in you
Broodlord.
attempt anything, I have still this Phyrexian Furnace. So
Yes.
thank you, opponent, for putting those cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And now he
Gladly.
took the Broodlord. And
Yeah.
the Broodlord is
2
absolutely
mana
crazy.
open, you get to tutor a card which you can cast for
Yeah,
provoke.
that's right, you can
that
also convoke it.
means that this is probably some kind of second reanimation spell.
Well, it could be
on
even like
the
interaction.
second threat.
It's potential, or it can be just a counter spell, right?
To seal the deal,
Yes.
to close out the game. Say, if you have anything to deal with this situation, that
Absolutely.
you are dead next turn.
Well,
5, 7,
essentially.
and maybe the frog pumped as well.
Yeah, he can just pump the frog, and I think that it could potentially be a kill next turn. I think that David on Aminatou will really need to look for something.
He has the option.
There are
and
options.
Since Leonard is tutoring, this doesn't look good for David Stepanek.
We will see what kind of card will be hit. Well, we will see maybe at the time when it will become relevant, but still, it's very crazy because the card is exiled face down.
Yeah, David
So,
has
David has no idea what's hidden there.
there.
Okay, he's going to consider at the end of Leonard's turn,
Considering his options,
considering the option keeping the card. So it's probably something that can help him, hopefully. Now, David's main phase, playing a land, now some 5 mana.
let's see what we...
Let's see what he can do about this situation. Playing Aminatou,
That's a good start, but I
Yeah.
don't think that solves it.
and the hidden card was Mana League, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
responded to by counters.
Aminatou is great actually, because that's one of the dangers
Yeah.
of the reanimating from the graveyard.
Absolutely.
The Aminatou's -1 ability
Yes.
can exile permanents you
Yes,
own.
he will
which
blink the Broodlord and get it back.
Meaning, not only the Aminatou will have a Broodlord
Yeah.
on his side, he also gets the extra tutor
Yes,
from it as well.
absolutely. How
So-
the tables have turned. This was an interesting play.
I'm really happy that there is some crazy turnout that's to be.
Absolutely, those are very crazy turns we are
And
seeing.
Leonard was prepared. He had the Manali ready.
That's right.
but,
Not
David
good enough.
Stepanek
Not good
just-
enough.
I don't know if there was a land drop from David's side.
There was a land drop
Yes,
from David's
so
side, so he had
he-
exactly 5
He
mana.
counted for it. He
Yes.
said, my opponent is gonna play Aminatou for free, has only 2 mana available, so I'm gonna mana leak it to
Yeah.
save it, but
Yeah, there is also like 6 power on
because
the
the
Goyf.
anime that
Yeah,
hit the yard.
because there is the anime there, which
that's-
means
yeah,
the
it's
Goyf can just attack. It can just try to go to the red zone because the Broodlord is 7/6.
The situation is far from solved on
Absolutely,
David Stepak's
absolutely.
side, but he finally gets something going on
100%.
through the graveyard. The way you can, when your opponent has a graveyard hate and has all those interactions possible, what you can do is just simply let your opponent reanimate it for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now this was very interesting. So there is the Goyf attacking.
Simple attack. Frog, no. Frog,
Frog
is
will,
scared.
yeah, Frog is probably scared to do so. Now there will be
Simply Rook token to
yeah,
block.
just
and
making chump blocker.
nothing
But
happens.
yeah, but no, well, allowing Leonard to heal a little bit. Well,
Right,
a little
but
bit for 6, but still.
That's not the most meaningful
Absolutely.
situation here. The big way is that David Stepanek possibly gets to keep his Aminatou, his Broodlord,
And that is the scary part.
blinking Broodlord, and
Absolutely.
getting any card you want from your deck,
Yeah.
which means there can be lead to some really big chain of events.
There can even be like, we don't really know what the card that was hidden is, or exiled a moment ago with the Broodlord is, but it could
there
be
has to
just,
be some free interaction.
could be interaction, but it also just could
yourself
be
on that
reanimation spells as well.
We
and
see
just
Marchesa
preparing.
on Leonard's side.
There is
to
Marchesa being played,
Put
so
something more on the battlefield.
little more pressure, but still the Broodlord is too big
Yes.
just to freely attack, and
No.
David is still at 15.
Not only
so-
big, there are more relevant
Yes.
facts about
The
the card.
ETB will be important
This is the
just
most-
in a moment. So there is an attack.
There's as another situation that Aminatou provides. You blink your creatures, so even if they attack, they come back
Yeah,
untapped. So
and not
they can attack and block at the same time.
exactly, and not just the vigilance, but also the thing we care about maybe a little more is the ETB effect on the hoarding Broodlord, because there is another card being exiled.
And we see
Another
what it's
option.
gonna get. This is interesting because he
What is he looking for? That's the
out
question.
of reanimation target, or there is one?
Well, there could be once again the Wrath of the Skies coming in. It's an
dealing with
option.
everything.
Dealing basically
Commander,
with everything.
All the creatures, including the Frex and Furnace Pesky that threaten
Yeah,
him.
and you would just keep the Broodlord and have that as an option.
Wrath
We
of the Sky doesn't hit Planeswalkers, right?
I'm not sure
If
Wrath
so,
of the Sky-
that it
if
would
it
be
does not
extra
deal,
sweet.
yeah,
And
it is.
here we go.
It is Wrath of the Skies. Nice predict, and we can see. We will see just in a second. I'm not sure if it's able to deal with Planeswalkers. Now there is the activation of the Furnace, also criminal trigger on Marchesa.
Yeah,
But
an
I-
attempt to get
Maybe
some volume
find
going
something,
on. Yeah.
maybe an answer. But Force of Will has already been used. Don't forget.
There's Force of Negation.
There is also Force of
But there
Negation,
is no
but there
Force of
is
Negation.
nothing
Everything
to stop
goes,
that.
and the Aminatou
and Aminatou
Horrid
stays.
Lord result
Yes,
stays.
Rev does not really deal with Planeswalkers, so now very
see
interesting
what the-
turn of events, and
And
David came
we
back.
see for the second time Wrath of the Skies completely turning the game in their
Absolutely
controller's
crazy
favor.
card, and honestly, it basically won. It won the second game, and it might even win this game.
It was more than two because it took Baragoyev and Marchesa, but Wrath of the Skies, as we see on the stream, it doesn't hit Planeswalkers,
Yeah,
which is great, and maybe the reason why
Yeah.
he includes this card in the deck.
absolutely. It definitely was an interesting play. Very strong
And
play.
here we go. One Great Hate card was dealt with, where we see second in Scrabbling Clause, but it is used only to cycle. Draw this card in attempt, kind of slightly desperate maybe,
Well,
to
just
find some
to
answer.
find something. Okay, there is a Fury evoked.
Yeah.
So there will be like cast attempt. Let's see. Okay,
But
dealing with
that's-
just
This is
Aminatou.
not
Is
very
that
good.
good enough? He can just play the Aminatou again.
It
I'm not sure if
Slows
this
down
helps.
the gameplay.
It
definitely.
does, it does.
It is some kind of interaction.
Okay,
but
once again, Leonard
Not great.
taking 7, going down, and I'm not sure how long can he survive this, or if he even has any option to answer.
problem is
Okay, there is the Spellseeker.
now situation gets worse if
Yeah.
Leonard tried that hard to get the Fury to deal with Aminatou, which frankly was just about to be replayed. and
Yeah.
that. We see Spellseeker for Mana League just in order to
David is-
defend
yeah.
your board presence.
David is very open about the fact he has counterspell, but
Okay, let's
it just
go.
works.
Do something.
Yeah.
Try it.
Just he's basically saying, yeah, Leonard shocked himself for 2 right now, so going down to 11, getting very close to being there, but
That's kind of the same clock.
it did not really change anything on the
yes.
clock. You're absolutely right.
We just cannot forget the face down exiled card. on the thing
Yes,
inside.
and there is just a cast on Marchesa for 5 mana. That's being dazed. That's brutal. There is still a mana leak on the side of David. And I don't want to predict too harshly against Leonard, but
Yeah.
I think this game is close to being sealed. Leonard is going down to 3 mana.
Yeah, the Marchesa was countered.
There is
Inquisition of Kozilek.
Inquisition of Kozilek, discarding.
See,
Yeah,
Mental
and,
misstep.
and there is only Fatal Push. I think there is
Not
nothing
good
that
enough.
could help. Not good enough.
Interesting
There is
card.
Also new reanimation card from Modern Horizons 3. And there is the scoop from the side of Leonard's. Now, very interesting results.
all right. But
Honestly, Wrath of the Skies.
we have
Great.
a slight question. If the Wrath of the Skies, how many mana was it played?
I think it should have been 2 or 3. Was it 3? It looked like 2, but Boys played it as 3 mana, I believe.
I don't know.
I don't know 100%. You know, it's 2 mana basic, like you need to
Yeah.
pay 2 white,
Two
and then
white.
you put in X. I don't really know if there was any energy left. I remember noticing that as well, that there was only 4 mana being tapped into that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
What's that the Wrath of the Skies is about to happen.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it was just tapped for 4 mana. I'm not sure if they played it for X equals 2 or X equals 3. I don't recall
Wasn't
the
that,
situation.
for example, the treasure token from
That-
the currency convert?
That's
maybe
also possible that there was the token from the converter.
just an idea. I am not sure.
Yeah, it might have been used for the treasure token. I'm not 100% sure. Or yeah, tapping the dragon. That's true. It has got convoke.
Yeah, the Horde Lord paid.
Yeah. Thank you very
the
much,
cost.
comments. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good Patrick. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And
Nice.
we managed to get there.
It
Now
was a bit lost in the translation because it
absolutely
happened
true.
all so fast. The attack,
yes.
the untap, the tutor, and then the cast of
right.
the Yura.
And we were just amazed by the fact how strong the card Wrath of the Skies turned out because it won both of those games.
In Duel Commander, you don't really see that much board wipes because you usually fight the board presence 101.
Yeah.
And when you start losing it, and all your opponents has different types of permanents, not only creatures but also planeswalkers, enchantments, artifacts, it's kind of really hard to deal with
Absolutely.
all at the same time. And the Wrath of the Skies kind of solved
It
this
solves
situation.
everything. It just deals with everything. And
I don't
also
know
it
if-
kept in Aminatou, which was
Yeah,
also fantastic.
Yeah. It leaves the high mana value threats, it leaves Aminatou in play, and deals with everything else. Okay, so we are going to have a pause
Yeah,
here.
soon enough, or right now we are going to have a break, and then we will see you before the next round with once again a little touch on the meta game. We still did not get to Shield Red decks, which I
Getting
would love
it
to get.
interrupted all the time with those matches going on.
Yeah,
So-
we've got those damn matches to care about, my lord. Now we will see you match 3, and before that with another meta breakdown. So come back and enjoy.
Goodbye.